What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to talk a little bit about Jelani Woods, somebody we expected to take that next step coming into really last year, but then he gets hurt, ends up missing the entire season with hamstring injuries. So then coming into this year, hey, the hope is that we can finally have a star tight end, and maybe that can be Jelani Woods. And I thought it was important to have this video because, man, I saw somebody on Twitter talk about the possibility of him getting cut. And I hadn't really thought of that. I feel like at the very least practice squad, right? I think that's probably more realistic, but just that's the conversation. We wanted Jelani Woods to be the guy, and we're at a point where you have people talking about, well, maybe he just doesn't need to be on the field at all. And that's the way it seems in training camp with what we've seen, things that I've seen on Twitter from people, what people are saying, people that are at training camp every day and what they're saying about what's going on. So what we see in the game is going to be important, right? This first preseason game against the Broncos is going to be important, and we kind of talked about that in a video yesterday. But I just think, Will Mallory has a chance to come up and be a guy that ends up stepping up to take that tight end role and run with it. We need somebody to be that guy. Kylan Granson and Mo Ali Cox have been working with the first team. And then you have Drew Ogletree, who comes in and subs in on the first team as well, but also works as like the leader tight end for the second team. And then you have Will Mallory and Jelani Woods, who work with the 2s and 3s. And just to give you an idea of kind of where things are with Jelani Woods, I want to show you some things that I found on Twitter that people have said about Jelani Woods. So as we look at this, right, you see, let me move that, and you see here, on the Colts tight end pecking order, so far in camp, the two tight ends who have played the most with the first team are Mo Ali Cox and Kylan Granson. Drew Ogletree has checked in with Mo Ali Cox when they've reached work on short yardage drills for the run game, and Will Mallory and Jelani Woods, like I said, running with the second and third team. And then you have Destin Adams here, who said that Joe Flacco looked for Jelani Woods in the middle of the field, looked like a solid gain, but Woods dropped the pass. So not great there. Then you say target Jelani Woods, who it hit his hands, but ends up dropping the ball. He grabbed his right ankle right away, but got up and ran to the sideline right away. So interesting what happens there. Kind of a maybe a little bit of embarrassment injury right there, right? Goes down, grabs his ankle. Who knows? Jelani Woods with an impressive catch over the middle from Joe Flacco in 11-on-11, climbed the ladder to pull that one in. So a little up and down from what I've seen and what you'll see here. Nate Atkins, one of his observations was that it was the best practice for Jelani Woods yet, though still mostly with the second team. I saw somebody else say that it was the most productive day that Jelani Woods has had. So, he's progressing, which is good, coming back from injury. Maybe there's some mental hurdles he has to break. He looked pretty good training in the offseason, so I assume probably not, honestly, there. But this is the temperature right now for Jelani Woods. And what I've been seeing about Jelani Woods is just been really disappointing, right? Again, somebody that we were hoping was going to be really good last year. We didn't get to see him. And then we thought, man, get Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, Jelani Woods on the field with the receivers that we have now. It could be really good, like insane kind of offense, like a bunch of freaks all over the place. And I saw somebody else on Twitter that commented on something and said, Jelani Woods is a freak athlete, just not a good tight end. So, and I'm not there. I'm not ready to make that determination. Again, could just be progressing through the offseason, trying to get work in. Of all the people on the offense, he got like the least amount of work with the offense last year because of his injuries. So I want to give him time. Everybody else knows what they're doing. It makes sense that Jelani would have to work his way in and work his way up. So that's really something that we're going to be looking at is can Jelani make his way up, and what's going to happen with the tight end position, right? You have Kylan Granson, who's working with the first team, his versatility, how good he is as a receiver, and how good he is as a mismatch kind of threat on the field. Can't take him off the field, at least unless you get somebody else that can consistently make those plays. Molly Cox is great to have in, so that there's always the threat of a run. With him on the field, there's a good chance we're running the ball. But hey, if it's play action or if we're passing the ball, there's a big target out there, a veteran in the NFL that has made plays in the past, made plays last year, right? Think about the Rams game, the big pass where he gets through some tackles and fights his way into the end zone. So he has value. Just as a receiver, we're looking for somebody who can be dominant as a receiver. So is that going to be Drew Ogletree? Drew Ogletree, unfortunately, last year had some other small injuries that popped up. So he was in the lineup, then out of the lineup, in the lineup, out of the lineup. And that inconsistency, I think, kind of hurt him throughout the season. And then again, Jelani Woods out. Will Mallory out of the lineup a couple times last year. But sounds like Will Mallory, again, might be the guy that comes up and takes that tight end position and really starts to run with it. His development throughout this preseason, through training camp seems really good. What's going to happen in the preseason with him? Then what happens throughout the season? Do I think Will Mallory will be an absolute star this year? No. But I think there's a chance as he continues to develop through this season, plays another season in the NFL, in this system, gets comfortable in the league and gets some more playing time, then maybe next year we're talking about Will Mallory coming into training camp, and maybe he's the Josh Downs of 2025 in training camp, right? Hopefully not getting injured, of course, but Josh Downs has been the MVP for the Colts on the offensive end, and maybe just overall the MVP for the team throughout training camp up until he got injured. So next year we'll be looking at that. Will Mallory be that guy? Maybe this year. Of course, if it could happen this year, that'd be great. It's what we're hoping for. That's what we're talking about now is, can Jelani Woods be that guy? And hopefully somebody can. We have some freak athletes. Can somebody really step up and be that kind of guy? So we'll see what happens. I, of course, want to know what your opinion is on the tight end situation, on the Jelani Woods situation, and what's going on. You let me know your thoughts on all this down in the comment section, please. And, of course, make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified when any more content comes out. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. As always, take care of yourself. Take care of each other, and go Colts.